so he's going to have less gas there. It's a bit of a waste on his part. So nice scan from Canata there to pick at those cloaked rays, but Fantasy positioning those rays where they're very hard to hit for Marines. And now he's going out with tanks here, barely taking out the tanks and everything from Canata here. And Canata's still pushing in with Goliaths, but the Goliaths aren't going to be able to get much done against siege tanks, unfortunately. But Canata is still trying to get somewhat of a contain here, still picking at the Wraith there and trying to protect his barracks. And looks like, Fantasy is repairing his race, so he's probably going to send them back in to get some harassment here. The barracks goes down for Canata, so, and the starport coming up for Canata right now, so he is probably going to go for a dropship here. I don't see him going in with Wraiths, trying to compete with the Wraith count from Fantasy. Oh, man. While there's a lull in the action, let's get another prediction from Anukanite. I've been trying to get more predictions out here, but I can't get out every prediction, unfortunately. This one is from Doso777. Are you the same Doso that writes those German articles where you put my videos in them? Because if you are, thank you very much. Oh, the Wraith, one Wraith going down there. But yes, I minored in German, so I can read those articles, by the way. So Doso777 or Doso777, however you want to do it. I am hoping for another round of Fantasy versus Jadong semifinals. They both are the most impressive players in that matchup. Vielen Dank, Doso. And Command Center coming up for Fantasy, so he's expanding again. And I think that Canata is as well. Well, no, that's a supply depot, so he's not expanding just yet, and Fantasy did scout this. Fantasy coming in with a dropship, so I think this is going to be a vulture drop from him. Going to drop some vultures in. Oh, he's dropping a couple of tanks, actually, and sieging here in a very good position. He might be able to take out the refinery. If he comes in here, he's going to be able to get the vision with this Wraith. So this is absolutely insane positioning of those tanks here. He's going to be able to take out that supply depot, no problem. And Canata, he's trying to figure out a way to... Actually, he might be thinking about doing the counterattack here while Fantasy has two tanks away. Canata can't seem to make up his mind as to what he wants to do. He lost his refinery, so eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth here. Both refineries have gone down, so Canata's going to have to rebuild his and get rid of those pesky siege tanks behind his main. But dropship up for Canata here, so he's going to be able to do the same strategy if he wants to, and he has a couple of Goliaths here as well, so he can drop those in to get some harassment too. The Wraiths still in here to pick off the tanks, and wow, the supply depot going down here. I think that was another supply depot being built actually from Canata. So Canata's trying to rebuild everything. He rebuilt his refinery, but that refinery is going to go down again. Fantasy must have picked up and redropped his troops here, but finally Canata getting rid of this troop. Siege tank unsieging so he can get another shot in a perfect wall here from Fantasy. Nothing's going to get through there, especially not vultures, even though it looks like neither player is committing to vultures. Curiously enough, Fantasy is not going for vultures. He is going for Wraith harass here instead. Canata trying to expand over here at the 6 o'clock position. He's finally putting down some more factories. So I don't think that... Oh, man, a lot of tanks coming in. This is actually looking a lot like the last game where the factories were denied from the downing of the barracks. So a lot of tanks coming in here for Fantasy. He's going to position those tanks in the middle and try to siege up and take out all these Goliaths. Those Goliaths could be a little bit pesky, running in to maybe create a Goliath bomb and make Fantasy shell himself, basically. Fantasy, he has 3 machine shops here, so I think he's going heavy tank. It looks like Kanata's going for pretty much the same build, although he's a little bit behind Fantasy here. Looks like turrets coming up for Fantasy. He might be anticipating a Wraiths coming his way, or maybe a drop or something. But he has a couple of dropships of his own. Both players are committing to a lot of dropships. Oh, we're going to see some good dropship play here soon. Canata is going into the middle with his dropships, and Fantasy is kind of hovering around the middle. He's trying to figure out the best positioning for those tanks so he can set up his tank line and take the middle. and be able to expand everywhere. He is expanding a lot at the top. This is insane macro from Fantasy, actually, and Canata just can't seem to keep up here. Canata does not have as many bases going as Fantasy. Fantasy going down the map with a ton of tanks. A metric ton of tanks going down the map, and only a few siege tanks in the middle for Canata here. I think most of his troops are in those dropships. I think Canata is going to wait for Fantasy to siege and then drop on top of the siege tanks with his entire force. And the double gas coming up for Fantasy, so he's going to be able to support a ton of tanks here. But this is going to be dropped from Canata, and I'm not sure if Fantasy has any scouting en route to this. He has his engineering bay. The engineering bay spots this drop, so yeah, Fantasy saw this. He's going to go over with his own dropships, 4 dropships full of troops, as opposed to Kanata's 3 dropships. So Fantasy might be able to defend this off with just the troops in the dropships. But he is being picked at here. He's going to have to keep that alive. He's dropping all of his troops within siege range here, which is kind of odd, but he does take this. And he's sieging all of his tanks up here to get rid of Kanata's tanks. So this is kind of a failed drop from Canata. Fantasy filling up more dropships here, a lot more dropships full of troops. So it looks like he's going to try to do the same thing to Canata as Canata tried to do to him. He's probably going to drop that 6 o'clock while Kanata's floating bases all over the place. And another base, a hidden base from Canata being spotted very, very soon. So he's got to cancel that. Yeah, he's got to cancel that base. There's no way he's going to be able to protect it.